size. The ribs are lifted and the diaphragm, this is the rib cage, ribs are lifted during inhalation. Diaphragm is flattened and there is increase in size of the chest cavity, and thereby we take air inside. And when we are taking air inside, as I told you, throat contains pharynx, larynx and trachea, and this trachea has rings. These are the tracheal rings which prevent the air from collapse. So these round structures are tracheal rings which prevent the air from collapse. And in the lungs, these are the alveoli. This is the tubes called bronchioles, and these lead to balloon-like structures called alveoli, which increase in size when air is filled in them. So this is the bronchiole branch, which is divided into small branches called alveoli. So this is the trachea, which leads to the bronchioles and bronchi. These are the tube-like structures which end into alveoli. So when we take in air, the air via the nostrils reaches the throat. In the throat, we have pharynx, larynx and trachea, and these are the rings of the cartilage present in trachea. And then from this, the air goes into the lungs. So this is the diaphragm, which is flattened when we inhale, and when we exhale, again diaphragm is back to its normal size. So that is how respiration occurs. And here we complete the life process, respiration. Next life process is excretion. So what is the definition of excretion? The removal of harmful wastes from the body is known as the excretion, the non-digested, non-useful waste. So many wastes are produced during various metabolic activities. So in the process of digestion is a metabolic activity. Various wastes are produced in this process. So these need to be removed in time because their accumulation can be harmful and lethal. So the waste produced during the metabolic activities like digestion or transportation needs to be removed from the body in time, because if they are not removed in time, they may be harmful to our body. So this is carried out by the excretory system of the body. This is carried out by the excretory system of the body. Human excretory system consists of kidneys mainly, and they are connected to ureters and the urinary bladder. The blood supply to the kidney is by renal artery and renal vein. So human excretory system, it is composed of a pair of kidneys, a tube called ureter. This is a tube called ureter which comes out of the kidney and goes to the urinary bladder, comes out of the kidney and gets connected to the urinary bladder. So ureter is a tubular structure. Urine is collected in the urinary bladder, from where it is expelled out. So urine is collected in the urinary bladder and then it is expelled out through this when required. So urinary bladder also consists of few muscles. So because urinary bladder has some muscles, that is the reason whenever we have a urge to pass urine, we can control the urge, because the urinary bladder has some muscles in it, and that is the reason it is voluntarily we can control the urge to pass the urine. So that is about human excretory system. So kidneys is the first part. Kidneys are the bean-shaped organs. The beans are the vegetables, right? Soya beans, we have rajma beans, etc. So kidneys are bean-shaped organs which lie near the vertebral column in the abdominal cavity. Vertebral column is nothing but your spinal cord. So below your spinal cord, kidneys will be situated in the abdominal cavity on the back side of the stomach. The kidney is composed of many filtering units called nephrons. Nephron is functional unit of the kidney. So this kidney consists of many functional units. Cell is the functional unit of the body, right? Same way nephron is the functional unit of the kidney. And nephron does the filtration process. It is the main functional unit of the kidney. So this is the structure of the kidney. And this is a nephron. Now let's see in detail about the nephron. Next is nephron. So the functional unit of the kidney is called nephron. So it is composed of tangled mess of tubes. It is composed of tangled mess of tubes and a filtering part called glomerulus. So this is the filtering part of the nephron called glomerulus. It is made up of many tube-like structures. Glomerulus is a network of blood capillaries. This glomerulus is a network of blood vessels to which renal artery is attached. So this is the renal artery, right? Renal artery is attached to that. the artery which takes blood to the glomerulus is called efferent arteriole. So the artery which brings blood to the kidneys is called efferent arteriole. Glomerulus is enclosed in a capsule-like portion called Bowman's capsule. So this outer structure is Bowman's capsule. So glomerulus is enclosed by Bowman's capsule. Bowman's capsule extends into a tube which is highly coiled. So glomerulus capsules ends into a highly coiled tube. Tubes from various nephrons converge into collecting duct which finally goes into ureter. So these tubes from various nephrons end into a collecting duct. This collecting duct goes into the ureter. Next, how filtration occurs in this glomerulus. So this filtration happens because of the high pressure inside the glomerulus. So this glomerulus has high pressure, due to which the filtration of urine occurs. The lumen of the efferent arteriole is smaller than efferent arteriole. So the lumen of efferent arteriole, lumen means inside the tube the hollow cavity or space. So the lumen of the efferent arteriole is smaller than that of afferent arteriole. So due to this, the blood entering the glomerulus experiences high pressure. So since the cavity, the lumen is small, the blood entering this experiences very high pressure. And due to the waste products are filtered, and due to this high pressure only, so due to this blood entering the glomerulus experiences very high pressure, and due to this the waste products are filtered out through the membrane of the capillaries in a glomerulus. So blood entering the glomerulus has very high pressure, and due to this high pressure the waste products are filtered. So due to the pressure of the blood entering the arterioles, due to the pressure present in the arterioles, the blood entering the glomerulus has very high pressure. So due to this high pressure, the waste products are filtered. How they are filtered? Through a thin membrane of capillaries. So this glomerulus has a thin membrane of capillaries or blood vessels through which these waste products are filtered. The filtered blood is then sent to systemic circulation. Then the filtered blood goes and enters the circulatory system through the efferent arteriole, and the filtrate goes into the Bowman's capsule. The filtered blood goes into the systemic circulation, and then through the efferent arteriole the filtrate enters the Bowman's capsule. This is how urine is formed. So due to high pressure the urine is formed due to difference in the size of the lumen. Again this blood enters the systemic circulation, that is the transportation system of the body. Again from there it enters into the Bowman's capsule. So the filtered blood is sent to the systemic circulation through efferent arteriole, and then the filtrate is sent into the Bowman's capsule. This is the Bowman's capsule, right? The filtrate goes into the Bowman's capsule. Filtered blood goes to the circulation. The filtrate goes into the Bowman's capsule, and then it is the way how urine is formed by the kidneys. So the reabsorption of water and some other filtrates takes place in the tubular part of the nephron. So the reabsorption of water and other filtration is occurred in this tubular part of the nephron. So this increases the concentration of urine, and urine is made up of water and urea. Reabsorption of water and other filtrates. The reabsorption of water and other filtrates in the body takes place in the tubular part of the nephron, and this increases the concentration of urine. This reabsorption of water increases the concentration of urine, and the urine is composed of mainly water and urea. So that is how nephron functions, and there is filtration in the glomerulus of the nephron. Hemodialysis is the procedure of removal of waste from the kidney artificially. So hemodialysis is nothing but the artificial kidney. So in case of kidney failure, artificial kidney can be used. So this artificial kidney is a device to remove the nitrogenous waste from the blood to dialysis. So this, if kidneys are failed due to some health conditions or kidneys are not functioning properly, then artificially through dialysis procedures the filtration of the blood and the kidneys will The filtration of the blood will be done artificially through a process known as dialysis. Artificially, machines will be attached from which tubes connect to the body of the human beings and do the function of the kidneys in case of kidney failure. So that is hemodialysis. So excretion in plants. Next is excretion in plants. So oxygen we can regard as the waste product produced during photosynthesis. So oxygen is one type of waste generated during photosynthesis. Next, transpiration is the process through which excess water is lost through evaporation from plants. Transpiration is the process by which plants get rid of excess water, evaporation of water. Next is plants waste are stored in leaves as well as the cellular vacuoles. So in this cellular vacuoles, the waste are stored in the form of resins and gums. So some plants secrete gums, right? That is nothing but the waste product of the plant. Next, plants excrete some waste products into the soil. Suppose if some dry leaves are falling to the ground, so plants excrete some waste into the soil in the form of falling leaves. So that is how excretion occurs in plants, and this completes the life process excretion. So generally plants take simple compounds from the atmosphere like carbon dioxide, and then they synthesize this compound and convert it to another form, that is food. They take solar energy from the sunlight and they take carbon dioxide and in the photosynthesis activity later they convert it into food, and this food will be stored in the leaves. So plants take simple compounds like carbon dioxide and photosynthesize energy in the leaves. So after photosynthesis activity, the energy will be stored, the food will be stored in the leaf. So this is how food is stored, and then the raw materials like water, minerals. Other raw materials are taken up from the soil like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. These are the essential elements which plant need, and these are the raw materials. So this is the food energy stored in the leaf, and other materials like water. It is taken up from the soil and other minerals. When we irrigate a field, the water reaches the soil, and from this soil the water and other elements like nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium will be transported to parts of the plant. So soil gives the other raw materials like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium and other minerals. So what matter here is the distance between soil contacting organ. What is soil contacting organ? Roots. So definitely the soil contacting organ is roots. And chlorophyll contacting organs. Chlorophyll contacting organ is leaf. So the distance from the root to leaf is all matters which determines how the transportation takes place in plant. The distance between these two things decides how the transportation system occurs in plants. So if the distance between these two is small, then the energy and the raw materials diffuse easily. So there will be easy transportation of materials from the roots to the leaves and from the leaves to the roots. But if the distance between the soil contacting organ and chlorophyll contacting organ is large, then easily diffusion will not happen. There must be a proper transportation system. So a specialized transportation system will be there if there is a larger distance. So transportation of this type of things is done by a specialized vascular tissue. When the distance is large, the transportation of substances in the plants is done by specialized vascular tissues, and those vascular tissues which are responsible for transportation in plants are known as the xylem and phloem. We have read about the structure of the xylem and phloem in the class 9. Xylem, main function of xylem is transportation of water. The main function of phloem is transportation of food. So coming to transportation of water, that is xylem. Xylem is responsible for transportation of water and minerals. These minerals can be nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium or any other small minerals. And then xylem is made up of tracheids, xylem vessels, xylem parenchyma and xylem fibers. So xylem is made up of 4 things. So out of these 4 things, the tracheids and the xylem vessels together make up the conducting elements, that is tracheids are known as the conducting elements. So xylem is a continuous tube, water pipes, right, which transport water in our houses. So xylem is also like water pipes in the plants. So xylem is a continuous tube in the plants which runs from the roots to the stems and up to the leaves, starting from the roots to the stems and then to the leaves. Xylem runs like a continuous tube. Xylem is nothing but looks like a